There's a silver lining elsewhere. The country's citrus industry has had a record export season of 146 million cartons. So to give you some perspective on what that number means, that's enough fruit to almost line the 40,000-kilometre circumference of the planet. That's according to the Citrus Growers Association. It says more countries are opening up ports of entry to the country's citrus. There's also a belief that the fruit will improve immunity during a pandemic, and that's fueling exports. The association says projections for soft citrus, lemons and Valencia oranges alone could bring in just under 7 billion rand in foreign exchange earnings and create more than 22,000 jobs. So for more on that, I'm joined now just to talk about this is Justin Chadwick, CEO of the Citrus Growers Association of Southern Africa. Justin, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. That's huge numbers we're looking at there, and something we saw develop through most of last year. How different are these numbers compared to pre-COVID levels?
Yeah, Devan, the industry has been on a growth path for a while now, so we've been seeing growth of 7 or 9% a year in export volumes. So we were expecting it. Citrus takes a while. Once you plant it, you only really start harvesting it after another 3 or 5 years. So we've had a bit of time to prepare and get to grips with the numbers.
I want to get into the economic impact in a moment, but I'm wondering if the international demand is so high, are they getting the best of the crop year? Are locals missing out in any way?
Cosmetically, definitely. The best-looking fruit does go overseas. So from that point of view, yes, the good quality stuff does get into the overseas markets. But, there's a huge crop. We export, say, 70%. So you've got another 30% that does go into processing and into the local market. So there's still good fruit locally.
All right, so the cosmetics might be different on the outside skin, but what you're saying is the vitamin C is still in much of our citrus that we keep behind here.
Yeah, so buy the scruffy fruit. It's probably the better internal quality.
Well, we'll let you off on that one, Justin. But let's get off to the earnings now. Just under 7 billion rand in earnings over the next 3 years. That's your projection if things materialize in terms of demand internationally. More than 20,000 jobs. So presumably this is a success story for government's efforts, in particular on the jobs front and economically.
Yeah, so that the 7 billion rand is additional earnings from what we're earning at the moment. In 2019, we earned 20 billion from the citrus industry. 2020 would have been quite a lot higher than that because the crop was bigger and the returns were bigger. So definitely it's a huge money earner in foreign exchange. And then in terms of jobs, at the moment there are about 120,000 jobs on farm and in pack houses. So we look at another 20,000 on top of that. And very recently we've done some longer-term projections which show even more growth.
I'm wondering whether or not other parts of the agricultural sector can emulate this. Of course, I understand these are pretty much external factors having to do with demand from the international economies out there. But can other parts of the agriculture sector emulate this and perhaps provide this type of job-creating circumstances that we so desperately need?
Definitely in the fruit sector. So, we've seen this growth in avocados recently. We see the big growth in blueberries at the moment. We've seen growth in table grapes and apples and pears. So definitely on the fruit side, we do see this increase in demand, driven mostly by exports. So, the demand from affluent countries wanting more and more fruit.
Yeah, that was just to end it off my next question there. Are we seeing more and more countries on different corners of the globe showing interest in South African fruit, in particular citrus?
Yeah, so South Africa traditionally used to mostly send to Europe. And over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, we've seen a much bigger demand coming from Asia and China in particular. So they're absorbing, say, 16 or 17% of our fruit now, whereas they used to absorb about 6 or 7%.
All right, some interesting figures to watch. Thanks very much indeed, Justin Chadwick, CEO of the Citrus Growers Association of Southern Africa. All right, let's